list. Cash one more time, just trying to find any way to set up a potential play. But I mean, the defense from Young Unks has been solid. Neither squad really has been able to put together a super clean offensive chance. And as I say that, here we go, is Resolve able to finally put some nice pressure onto Young Unks, but the defense holding strong yet again. They are not giving up.
No, they are not. 8 seconds left on the clock here. A lot of pressure still in their favor. Oh, that's just unfortunate footing there from Raziers, and Ivan's going to have to send this one all the way back. He has to keep it up. It's low boost for Resolve here, and Young Unks have the opportunity to kill this ball. They will. This one hits the ground. Game number 1 goes to the Young Unks with just a 1-goal lead, but it was more than enough.
Oh, yeah. I mean, they showed a lot of grit. Getting that early one was really important for this squad, mainly because it seemed like it was really, really even, really back and forth and super defensive coming out the rest of the way. You know, after that first goal, I'm kind of surprised that the pace slowed down so much, you know, really up until that last like 30 seconds or so when things started to pick up where, you know, squads just started throwing everything they got at the net and it still didn't work out. So, I mean, yes, it was a close game, and I'm sure that, you know, the Young Unks are going to be feeling good about getting the victory, but I don't know if they'll be feeling good about how the last half of the game went. It was so even. Really, it could have been a tie game. It could have headed into overtime very easily, but hey, for Young Unks, it didn't. They've got the advantage, and they've got to keep riding the momentum that they've got.
For sure. And I got to give it to them defensively. They look so good at predicting a lot of those passing plays. It's more right now on Resolve to try and come up with something a little bit new, maybe a little bit more creative even to get around the defense there, just because what they were doing clearly, you can be repetitive and, you know, throw 15 passing plays at the net, but if all 15 are saved, I think at some point you got to start, you know, trying to eye what level of aggression needs to come out initially for that play to be completed. So Young Unks off the kickoff, keeping this ball midfield. Chip's going to leave this one down for Creamy. Just a slow ball there, and that's that aggression I was talking about from Resolve. I want to see them a little bit more in the faces of Young Unks, and for now, it's working out successfully.
Yeah, they're doing a nice job right here of putting on a little bit of pressure early, but the Young Unks answering right back. The center's there, the clear as well. Chip now going to corral this one, leaving it off. Ivan yet again able to intercept this one. Take it back the other way. Potentially set up a center right here. Defense going to be holding for now. Can Cash finish it off? Yes, he can. Cash, upper 90 with a beautiful shot. I want to see the power behind this one. Yeah, 102 on that. Nobody was going to be stopping that thing.
That was full team effort, too, to get around the defense. And that is literally exactly what I talked about, is you have to be so up in their faces, so pressure heavy, that you completely crumble the defense. Young Unks, they were just scrambling to kind of just find their way and positioning off that one. And it was just an easy open shot for Cash. And also, I got to commend him. Great placement. But now, Young Unks trying to do the same off this one. Resolve just following these touches one after the other, still a little bit in their favor here. Cash might beat out Creamy, but Creamy, even on no boost, had him beat out over to the sidewall there. 3:50 on the clock. Demo coming through. Open net for Resolve, and Ivan's going to be the one to slot that in.
Yeah, Ivan doing a solid job right here. I mean, you see the demo coming in from Cash, just making sure that that net was going to be wide open all day long, and now we've got the biggest advantage that we've seen so far in this series in particular is Grid Serve Resolve going to be able to find themselves a nice cushion in this one.
See if they can do it again here. You see it. Ivan already pushing up, taking those touches. And Young Unks, they've been playing fairly close together, which makes me a little bit nervous for themselves, but they are able to rush back to defend in time more times than not. Braziers trying to solo this one, pass Justice, not able to do so. Cash, disruptive touch there, keeps this in their favor. This one's sent back. Ivan's gonna stop it, slow it down. He spots Braziers. Braziers just trying to keep it in their touch. And Chip, I gotta give it to the Young Unks. They've done a much better job of, you know, staying in this one.
Grid Serve Resolve did a nice job of giving themselves a chance there again, but the defense from Young Unks be sending it back the other way, directly straight into the Grid Serve Resolve half. This Chip, a little bit of a mistouch there, going to be sending it down to Raziers, who's able to get the clear, but heading back the other way again. is going to be Chip. Neither squad really able to put together a solid chance on the offensive end. Just a lot of clears going down back and forth between these two squads, as someone's going to need to commit if they don't want to make this game end at 2-0 right here now. Halfway through this one, Young Unks, they've got to find a way to break through and find the answer, as that one does get pinched off of the crossbar. Barely going to be going just a little bit too high.
Pretty nasty save. I got to give it to them. Yvonne just going, lurking. You saw it, but Grid Serve Resolve just playing a little bit close there, giving some space over to the Young Unks, although they're not making complete use of it. Chip tries to slow this one down. Cash actually has free shot if he wants. He takes, he does. And 3-0 for Resolve, just like that.
Yeah, and this right here is the Grid Serve Resolve that a lot of people are probably expecting. I mean, a lot of pressure going to be coming in, a lot of confidence, as well as Cash is going to be able to punch that one home. Another solid showing coming in for Resolve, as you know, they're more than likely going to be able to tie this series up. 3 goals, though. That doesn't mean that this one is all said and done, as the Young Unks have shown that they can have a lot of offensive pressure, but the thing is, are they going to be able to convert on that pressure? That's going to be the big thing we need answered right here, with them needing to score 3 goals in a minute 40.
There is time to do it, but if this finds its way in, it's going to be way harder. It didn't. Pinch off the ground, though, is a great attempt at this net. Less than 90 to go. Young Unks finally break out. You saw Chip already going up the bump. He still can't find his way in. No connect on it. And Young Unks have to try again. Here comes Creamy off the sidewall. 2 up. Yvonne on him. This one's going to float into the center. Nobody there to follow. And a couple of these opportunities going wayside.
Yeah, Young Unks doing a great job of putting in a lot of pressure, but just not able to find it quite yet. That back of the net has been oh so elusive for them since finding that opening goal. And right now, Resolve, I mean, are just feeling absolutely comfortable right here on the pitch. Doing a solid job of making sure that, you know, anything that Young Unks are going to try to throw at them ends up getting stopped, halted at the line, playing solid defense, trying to make sure that these counterattacks and these clears aren't going to be the way that Young Unks can get back into the game, because we know how lethal they can be and how they can turn around a game oh so quickly that you feel like you're in control of.
For sure. And yeah, speaking of control, Resolve definitely have had it for the most part. I think you described it fairly accurately, saying that they've been, you know, decently comfortable in this game number 2. This is one of the well, this is the first time they've ever been able to score in this game 2 here, and it's at 19 seconds, so it's not an impossible challenge, but it is a very, very difficult one to try and come away with successfully. You're gonna have to find something off the kickoff here and then redo that. So let's see what they've got.
It's not over just quite yet. Might be in a few seconds, but hey, the Young Unks can put together a miracle here. You never know, as it does get centered, but the clear comes out, and that should be all she wrote as this one sails into the net. Grid Serve Resolve going to be taking game number 2, tying the series up.
Not too bad a game from Resolve. I will say great progress in response in comparison to game number 1. They look completely different, and like you said, a lot more comfortable, and that's what really was the key difference maker, was forcing the Young Unks to play a little bit more scrambly, forcing them to be in an uncomfortable position of having to come back into things here. But Grid Serve Resolve tie up the series overall, and that means next game's winner claims match point.
Oh yeah, and that is where everything will be on the line. Whichever one of these squads will be able to find that match point. You know, there's so much that these squads want to be able to do in this tournament. You know, you want to be able to win, you know, your first game. You want to be able to say, all right, we're moving on. We're feeling good. We're going to be moving on at least to the next part. You want to guarantee yourselves a piece of that prizing, and that's the most important thing possible. You got to get the wins if you want to do that. You don't want to lose your first series, because then you are in the gauntlet for real. You've got to make some wild things happen if you want to see a piece of that prizing. Guarantee yourself a piece of that top 4. Because right now, we get ready to head into this pivotal game number 3. Oh, so important for both of these rosters, like we stated, to get on series point, potentially move on. And I mean, both these squads have shown grit, but right now is where you got to put it all out there.
All the marbles right here. This is a really important swing game for whoever is able to take it, but more importantly for Young Unks to be able to refine that momentum. Winning this one would actually be so impactful for them. But it's up to Grid Serve Resolve to kind of recreate what they did in that game number 2, just refining themselves into a little bit of that flow state there. Creamy, though, he spots his teammate, tries to head towards that net. Great save from Cash, keeping this one out. But the pressure from the young Unks, I got to commend them early on is what you want.
A lot of pressure right here. Question is, will they be able to make anything out of it right now as Resolve able to make sure that that's not the case. But Ivan looked for the bump right there. Might have been able to get themselves on the board first, but not quite able to connect on that one. Now it's going to be Cash heading back the other way. Definitely a lethal player. If you give him space, you give him opportunity, and that's exactly what Cash is going to capitalize on.
What on earth from one end to the other? But look at this. It's the bounce up and it's just nasty. He flicks it in from the side. And Grid Serve Resolve first on the board. I gotta hand it to Cash, though. That is a great way to be entering this game number 3.
Yeah, gonna be looking to keep this one going right here as they're almost able to get another one to their tally. Off the kickoff would have been big, and there we go. Oh, not quite. And yet again, another save. Creamy with a couple nice ones back to back, but nothing coming out of it. I thought for sure that was going to be another goal coming in for Resolve. Because right now things are starting to click a little bit for them. Young Unks have been shut out now for quite some time. It's been, over 10 minutes almost now since Young Unks have scored in this series. So right here, Resolve are doing a solid job of keeping this momentum on their side and in their favor.
Yeah, right now, just holding on to that 1-goal lead, keeping Young Unks back as best as you can. That really is the name of the game for Resolve here. 3 minutes, just over 3 minutes on the clock. Musty air dribble towards that net. Can't find the bump or the demo on it, which means that play just completely stays stagnant. This ball is going to fall back into the midfield here. Chip, no boost in the tank, means Grid Serve Resolve can keep this play going if they want. Cash to clear over to the backboard. Great read there from Chip, but low boost for Young Unks. That's really where a lot of these beat outs are coming in, is speed from Resolve. They have the boost to be able to continue their plays. And Young Unks are kind of, as the saying goes, you're throwing paint at a wall, just hoping something sticks. That's kind of what things look like for them right now.
Yeah, there's yet again another chance going off the backboard here. Resolve with the potential setup, just needing to get the center. Is able to, is Yvonne, but no, not quite yet. The follow-up not going to be there. Maybe one more chance off the backboard. Is anyone going to be there? No, the clear does come out. Cash is able to collect it and break up the clear just a little bit. But is that really going to be able to pay off for this squad, as Razier is going to be able to get this one back into possession of Resolve? He's able to get the boost. If he could have won that challenge, might have been able to set up a nice offensive play, but Cash now going to be going up. We've seen this before. Cash, one more time. No, this one's going to be taken away. This time it's going to be Chip. And right here, I will say, guys, Grid Serve Resolve are doing a great job right now of putting a lot of pressure onto this Young Unks roster and making sure they're playing a lot of defense, not able to even have an opportunity to set up an offense.
Yeah, honestly, a solid defense sometimes is just having pressure on another team. You don't even have to be successful in a lot of your shots, but just forcing the Young Unks to play as much defense as they have been is a great time waster. So that's kind of what I've been seeing out of Resolve right now. Double reset to allow Cash to take a shot opportunity, but it's just another great save from the Young Unks. This is one of the fewer times we've seen them actually break out of their own half. They're trying to follow it up as best they can, but as soon as it starts, it stops, and they're back in that orange half, taking these shots. 1 minute left on the clock here, and Grid Serve Resolve have all the control and the pressure.
Yeah, with now 45 seconds remaining, Young Unks gonna be looking to make anything happen. Oh my goodness, that was their best chance coming in from the side, but Razier's with the clutch save. Gonna be making sure that this one stays at a 1-0 advantage for Resolve. My goodness, that was such a nice chance coming out. Maybe another one is just us looking for the follow-up, but not gonna be able to find anything. As yet again, Resolve defense, it's holding strong. Young Unks looking for any type of pressure, trying to make Resolve their nieces and nephews, but I don't know if that's going to be the case in this one.
I don't know either. 10 seconds to go. This one cleared out orange side. Cash up next. Off the sidewall, double. Couldn't quite find the angle, or at least low enough to find the angle. Chip up next. That could have been crazy, but no, it'll hit the ground. Grid serve Resolve back in this one with just 1 goal to their name.
Yeah, so I mean, at the end of the day, a couple of 1-goal games right now coming out for these rosters, and man, this is a tough one to call for the rest of the way, because I mean, you want to sit here and say, all right, does Resolve have the momentum after winning the most recent game? I don't really know. I mean, it seems like, you know, neither one of these squads have been really able to put together something that's, you know, to ride home about, if you will. But at the end of the day, the defense for one of these squads every single game has been absolutely stellar, allowing just 1 goal so far through each one. So who knows? It might be a low-scoring affair the rest of the way. But I say that, and then I might cast or curse it, and we get a 10-goal game. So who knows?
It's very, very possible with these two teams. I think the amount of pressure we're about to see in this next one, and in particular from Young Unks, is going to be intense for Grid Serve Resolve, or at least that's what I would hope to see for them headed into this next one. Because again, Grid Serve Resolve is sitting on match point now after that win there, so they do have the momentum to drive this one forward should they choose to continue it. They looked great in that last game there. Like we saw, it was just really a matter of placing your shots in the vicinity of the net. Not everything even had to be on target. It was just more time wasting once they found that lead. Question is, can they do it again? We're going to find out right here. Game number 4 officially underway.
Here we go again. Cash going to be looking to start us off the right way. Sends it cross net. Not able to convert, though. Razier still with the follow-up, giving themselves a chance for a potential goal. Shot coming in from Yvonne. Not going to be able to convert either. Either way, Resolve trying to pick up where they left off and get another 1-0 advantage that they can sit on and feel really good about.
This 150's back in the mid. Great stop here from Justice. Uses his flip to just keep some power onto that ball there, but immediate clear and transition out for Resolve, and that's really what the name of their game was in that game number 3. It was just quick transitions, quick clears and follows, keeping that ball close and not allowing the Young Unks any space to make some plays. The one time they got some, it's a reset through, and Justice, the first to put Young Unks back on this board.
Yeah, Justice with a great read right there, able to send that one straight through. Yvonne not going to get the clear. Did get the touch, but it wasn't enough to send it off target. Young Unks going to be starting this one like they did game number 1, so they can potentially build off of this. That'd be massive, and there we go as the building begins. Chip going to be able to put one in. 2 goals, 1 minute in.
Oh man, he saw Cash. He wanted to go for some reason, go for that mid boost and the push up. I don't think he expected them to lose control off it so quickly there. And then it's just a wide open net for the Young Unks. They take advantage, 2-0 lead with just a minute in. I mean, that is a great position to be in a position of power even when you are trailing on a match point.
Oh, Chip. I mean, he said, hey, just give it to me. I'm right in front of the net. You know, I'll take the easy one, if you will. Yeah, Justice probably would have had that one by his lonesome, but hey, listen, why not? Teamwork makes the dream work.
This is honestly insane. It is such a complete, coin flip from what we saw in that last game there. Young Unks, they look just like they did, honestly, I think it was game 1. Even though it was a 1-goal game, this is very reminiscent of the consistent pressure that the Young Unks had before. The difference is more of their shots are finding their way into the back of that net there, and Resolve being forced to have to respond to even more. Justice carrying this one down. Cash's touch a little bit slow. This one off the sidewall, but that easily could have turned into 4. And 3:19 on the clock, and a demo just isn't enough. It just feels like it isn't enough time for Resolve.
Yeah, solid challenges coming out from Young Unks to keep this Resolve roster at bay, at least so far in this one. Young Unks doing a very solid job trying to force us into that game 5. Everyone wants to see if you're down 2-1 in a series. Center coming out, a lot of power behind this one, but yet again. It's going to be the Young Unks defense holding strong. And that's been the name of the game. If they can get the lead, they typically keep it. But here we go is Resolve. Raziers able to find one. And they're back in this.
I like this too. Although, yes, it is a little questionable for Yvonne and Cash to be doubling to kind of push that one upfield. But you know what? If it works, it works. Resolve finally put themselves onto the board in this one, which is a great place to be in. Could find another one here. Yvonne just a little bit slow to follow, but 2:40 on the clock. Pressure in their favor. It's finally stopped by the Young Unks with a clear up field. And grid serve Resolve just trying to get back onto this ball and hold on to it. It's proven to be a little bit bigger of a challenge than they might have expected.
Oh yeah, big time. I mean, we've had, what, 2 one-goal games. We've had one game that Resolve really looked solid on overall, but right here now, Young Unks, they said it's our turn to look solid and have the nice outing, if you will. This Cash going to be looking to track this one down. Raziers is going to be the one able to do it. He might be trying to look for Yvonne in the center. It's going to be Cash that's going to be the one to follow up, but not going to be there as the save is going to be coming in. Both players on Young Unks are going to be there to hold the line yet again.
I got to give it to the Young Unks too. Even on low boost, they managed to make a lot of those saves. As I say, low boost is what catches him out on it. I don't even know why he didn't move. He just stared at it roll by. I think Chip just knew. There's really no touching that at that point. Minute 44, Young Unks. Well, their lead is slowly getting away from them now. Just 1 goal is all that they are ahead by. And grid serve Resolve slowly but surely getting back into the series.
Oh yeah, grid serve Resolve potentially, oh my goodness, potentially able to find an equalizer here soon. But if that would have went in, that would have been absolute disaster for Resolve. But man, by the hair of their chinny chin, they're going to be getting out of that situation, and now we're having another opportunity to potentially tie this one up. The reset going to be coming out from Raziers. Tried to leave it off for his teammate. That one's not going to be working out, as Resolve are going to need to head back onto the defensive end and try to get a restart.
They're still trying to keep this one going. Low boost. You see Yvonne cheated way up far. Was trying to go for a couple of those bumps and demos. Instead, that last third man, Cash, having to play very deep in that net too to make sure these shots stay out. Less than a minute to go, trailing by 1. Disruptive touches all the way around from the Young Unks, just really keeping Resolve boxed in their own side here. One of the better clears that they've seen, but even that doesn't see the light of day, and Justice just flips this one forward. And you're just wasting time at this point. If you're Young Unks, you don't have to do too much. You don't got to be too crazy. You just got to let it fall in, and things will go into place.
Wow. I mean, this was a beautiful assist coming out as you saw this, the interesting clear attempt coming in from Yvonne. It goes right to Creamy, who's going to be able to get the great assist right there. I mean, that's just beautiful stuff coming in from Young Unks right here, looking to force this game number 5. And I mean, hey, it might be able to do it right here if they're able to hang on just a little bit longer.
Yeah, it's definitely possible if they are able to just keep on to it. 15 seconds to go. Yvonne, Cash trying to pre-jump it, doesn't make connection with it. Instead, he goes off the ceiling and down, can't quite meet it because it's no boost at this point. And these, again, intercepted touches have really just been the name of the game for the Young Unks. That one would have had to have found its way in. Instead, we see 0 on the clock. You can get 1 for the road home, but it's just not enough. We see another game 5.
Wow. I mean, hey, what a way to start out our day. I mean, we said the EU probably going to be a lot closer, and I mean, they are holding true to that statement as we get our second game 5 of the day. Great way to start things out for sure in this Group A. And wow, I have no idea who I have taking this one. We both predicted a 3-1, and clearly that one's out the window at this point as we're in a game 5. So, I mean, do you want to redo your prediction at all? Do you want to switch it up based off what you've seen? Like, what are you thinking right now?
I mean, I still have Resolve. I think there's a lot of experience when it comes to these high pressure situations that might be able to set them apart. But this game, the series, completely falls into the hands of Unks. This is their game to really win or lose. It is a matter of how consistent they can be headed into this game 5. They looked incredible in that last one. They had all the pressure in the world, but unfortunately, you know, things would slip away. When they did, it looked nasty. So Resolve trying to get back into this one. I still keep my hand on Resolve, but Young Unk's gonna try and prove everybody wrong.
I mean, you said it. The name of the game is going to be experience in these Game 5 situations. And yes, they might be young, but they are Unks. And I think that they've got the experience necessary to take this one. I'm switching. I'm flip-flopping. I'm going with Young Unks. I think they're going to be able to pull it out.
Well, only one way to find out who's right. First 30 seconds in, pressure's been pretty equal on both ends of the field here. Raziers wants to make that pass attempt over to Yvonne. This one gets sent off for effort, but not a bad one at that. Young Unks demos coming all the way through. Paths trying to be cleared. It is more than enough space for Justice to find his way on in. And 45 seconds on the clock. Young Unks take that lead.
Yeah, the first goal of the game has been massive in this series. I believe the person to score first has went on to win every single game. So that first goal from Young Unks is massive. Being able to pick up that one, going to be giving a lot of confidence over to this squad as well.
Minute in, not too bad. Big clear here though from Young Unks. Again, I'm just waiting to see, you know, how much pressure, how consistent it can be from them. Razier's though gonna collect this ball. He spots Yvonne, takes the solo play opportunity. Justice, great save. 2 up from Grid Serve Resolve. Makes me a little bit nervous there, especially when there is no follow-up after. And again, another double commit on these plays makes me nervous for this blue team.
Yeah, definitely leaving themselves susceptible for that counterattack opportunity, as the Young Unks are going to be taking advantage of that opportunity with a nice shot on target. This one saved away by Razier's. Going to be looking to potentially send this one back the other way and just get it out of their half and back into the Young Unks half to try and make them play a little bit more defense than necessary. Just like that, Justice with a nice save on the line, trying to keep this Resolve squad at bay. A little bit of an awkward challenge though. He's going to be leaving it off. The double's not there as well, and yet again Justice holding the line. My goodness, the defense coming in from Young Unks is looking well beyond their years.
Yeah, they definitely, their experience is showing for sure. Pass and play attempt over to Cash. Great tee up. And there you have it. Grid Serve Resolve tie up the game.
We got ourselves an all-even match right here and now to see who is going to be moving on in this group and who is going to be going down. This group, remember, it is double elimination, so if you do lose this opening matchup, your series, your tournament is not over. You still got a chance, an opportunity, as there was an opportunity for Cash coming out. It wasn't able to go through, not able to convert on that one. Halfway through this one, we got ourselves a tie game. This is what we want, honestly.
Yeah, I mean, I like the close matchups. I had a call on it that, you know, EU is fairly equal. The gap isn't quite as big as most people think, especially when a lot of those super high top teams aren't playing in. So now it is Young Unks in that lead there. Great initial challenge there from Chippy, but a better follow-up from Karimi. Just wide open net there. Easy shot on target. And now Young Unks entering the second half of this game here with the lead.
Yeah, I mean, right here and now, they're definitely going to be feeling good having that advantage. You know, they've been able to get the advantage in each one of their wins so far. So just wanting to hold on to this one and repeat history. They're going to be feeling good if they can. And right now, Resolve have to change history by being able to come back. They already found the equalizer to get it to 1-1, but then giving up another one to the Unks is going to be spelling trouble for this Resolve roster, who are now on their back foot a little bit, needing to fight an answer. Man, so many chances. So many good chances as well. Not just chances. Great chances even by Resolve, but Young Unks holding strong on the defensive end.
Yeah, there's been a lot of good opportunities created there. This is one of the better ones, though. This one finally followed through all the way from beginning to end. Cash on the low ground. Razier's, it was a dead ball centered to him, and a great double off the side to tie things up. But yeah, like you said, there's been a ton of opportunity there for Resolve, some of which they've created themselves, others have been handed, but not much has, come to completion. That was the first one in a long while. 90 seconds left on the clock here in this game number 5. I'm just waiting to see who really is just going to take this ball, hold it, keep it close, and honestly command control of this game 5. It's been so back and forth that really it comes down to time. Who's going to be the last one to score?
Oh yeah, we are in that potential golden goal territory right now. Center does come out. Big clear coming in for Cash. He's going to be sending it back the other way, but it's really just going to be opening the door for a potential goal. And no, you can't miss those, but Creamy going to follow it up regardless, as the Young Unks are going to be able to find themselves the advantage for the 3rd time in this game. Now, for the 3rd time, are you going to give it up?
It's just unfortunate. Just way too much space and time given to the Young Unks. But if you are a fan of them, this is a great thing. You have all the momentum right now in your favor. Yvonne trying to get around not one but 2 players, and now chips in the center to tee up over to Raziers, takes the shot. Cash's follow-up on the ground and sent off by Justice. And Young Unks, really, they just got to play solid defense for the next 35 seconds or so. A couple demos sending people back. That's a great save from Cash. And 30 on the clock and a 1-goal lead, potentially 2. Young Unks really ramping up the pressure.
Yeah, what the Young Unks need to not do, though, is get a little bit too overzealous and leave that counterattack potential open for Resolve, as the center does come through, but Yvonne not going to be able to get that one. It was a close call for Yvonne. I thought potentially that might have been the equalizer, but no. As yet again, the Young Guns able to send this one wide, and now it's all the way up to Resolve to keep this one up in the air, to keep themselves having an opportunity, a chance. This one goes out to the corner. One more time, Yvonne looking for the center. Young Unks just looking for the kill, but Yvonne keeping it up just barely, and finally, it does touch the ground just barely. The Young Unks able to pull off what some people might consider an upset, able to win this one. My goodness, the Young Unks doing a great job all around throughout this series to close it out.
My heart just goes out to Yvonne on that one. He flipped off of it. I don't know if that was a mistake or not, but nobody was there to follow it and keep that play going. But all the props in the world to Young Unks, because yes, like you said, Grid Serve Resolve was the favorite in this matchup. So in a world, yes, that is a little bit of an upset there. So they get to continue on through the upper bracket. That is a great thing for them, because you really want to have that first win in the books for you very, very early on, if possible. But 2 game 5s back to back. What a way to open up the weekend for Europe here in the EWC Community Cup.
Yeah, definitely an awesome way. Let's go ahead and take a look at this first group and see how things shook up in the first match of the day, the first matches of the day. We did have Carmine Corp going up against Wild. It went the distance, but Carmine Corp ended up clutching up. And then we've had Young Unks going up against Grid Serve Resolve, and Young Unks able to pull that one out as well. So we have our next matchups, which are Carmine Corp against this Young Unk roster, who I'm sure are going to be very excited to play against this Carmine Corp team, who looked potentially beatable today.
Yeah, this is a really interesting KC that we got today. I'm expecting them to be a little bit more put together when we see them going up against the Young Unks, especially just because you are playing, for that number 1 seed headed into Sunday. But yes, on the other side of the bracket, we got Wild versus Resolve, 2 teams that are very familiar with each other. But this is all fun stuff for later on. If we take a peek over at the next group, I mean, that's what we've got coming up soon. So yeah, I think it's Pilar versus Hag. I feel like
Hag gonna be Hag gonna be going up against Puvo plays like a rat. So it's gonna be pretty interesting. So I mean, hey, next matchup that we've got on board, it's gonna be coming from that Group B side. So you guys aren't gonna want to go anywhere. We will be right back after this short break, and we will jump right into that match.
Came to win this world. Bet it all on me, bet it, bet it, bet it, shit, bet it, bet it, bet it, bet it all on me, bet it, bet it, bet it, shit, bet it, bet it, bet it, bet it all on me, yeah, bet on me, I got that high hand, tell them stop playing, wait, whoa, whoa, God sent in the top 10, got me locked in, wait, whoa, whoa, shot clock with it non-stop, been timeless, tell them pay attention, need a vibe, Vans, going Kanye on a wild rant, wait, pop. You know what it is, just throwing a dime, you doubling up, whoa. You know the odds might get a little bad, but they gotta fumble it up, yeah. Put in a prop, it's looking exotic, you know what side it is, ay. You know what side it is, ayy. Bet it all on me, bet it, bet it, bet it, shit, bet it, bet it, bet it, bet it all on me, bet it, bet it, bet it, shit, bet it, bet it, bet it, bet it all on me. Might as well go all in on me. Does when I walk in, just bet it all on me. Bet it, bet it, bet it, shit. Bet it, bet it, bet it, bet it all on me. Me, bet it on me. Me, 2 play, 2K, somebody other than me. Yeah, you not a brother to me. Whoa, I'm only playing for keeps. Yeah, all of my dogs is outside with it, can't keep on a leash. Yeah, my word, Mona Lisa. Can't pay with a Visa. Walked in with a briefcase and pulled off in a Brinks truck. Bet it on me, your boy. They wanna sleep on a boy. I wanna seek and destroy it, yeah. Go put a parlay on a short thing on your boy. Bet it all on me. Bet it, bet it, bet it, shit. Bet it, bet it, bet it, bet it all on me. Bet it, bet it, bet it, shit. Bet it, bet it, bet it, bet it all on me. Might as well go all in on me. Big does when I walk in, just bet it all on me. Bet it, bet it, bet it, shit. Bet it, bet it, bet it, bet it all on me. Bet it all on me. Bet it all on me.
When I wake in the morning, I see it so clearly. It's no competition. It's just on with the vision. We giving incisions. We feeling amazing. It ain't ever gonna stop when we take to the top. We feeling amazing, feeling amazing, feeling amazing. Now back to the basics. We just keep it moving, ain't leaving no traces. Now look at their faces. Ain't no stopping us now. We controlling with aces. Now tie up your laces. Ain't no tripping. We living this, giving to chase this. Now turn up the faces. We keep living this, grizzly. We got it to face this. Feeling amazing. Take to the top and we never gon' stop it. Feeling amazing. Take to the top and we making a profit. Feeling amazing. We just living our life and we keep it above. Feeling amazing. We ain't never gon' stop and we living it up. I'm going through changes, living so dangerous. They saying he famous. I keep telling myself I'm the best with the aim. It's saying it's criminal, they do the minimal. I'm just a general, keep it subliminal. Break them the minerals, keeping it cynical. Keeping it moving in the speed of pinnacle. Feeling amazing. Take to the top and we never gon' stop it. Feeling amazing. Take to the top and we making a profit. Feeling amazing. We just living our life and we keep it above. Feeling amazing. We ain't never gon' stop and we living it up. Feeling amazing. Raising the temperature, counting your days in. Feeling amazing. Raising the temperature, counting your days in. Feeling amazing. Raising the temperature, counting your days in. Feeling amazing. Raising the temperature, counting your days in. Feeling amazing. Raising the temperature, counting your days in. Feeling amazing. Raising the temperature, counting your days in. Feeling amazing. Take to the top and we never gon' stop it. Feeling amazing. Take to the top and we making a profit. Feeling amazing. We just living our life and we keep it above. Feeling amazing. We ain't never gon' stop and we living it up.
wolves are hauling. Can you hear the voices calling? Do you feel how they are dragging, waiting for a second to push you to your limits, going strong and feeling better? Or do you feel them? Can you hear them say?
Welcome to the other side.
Do you feel how they are dragging? Do you feel them? Can you hear them say? Do you feel how they are dragging? Can you hear them say?
Welcome to the other side. Cross the line. Seems a little dark in here. Trust me, you have nothing to fear. Take the start. Follow, leave it all behind. Welcome to the other side. Welcome to the other side. Cross the line. Seems a little dark in here. Trust me, you have nothing to fear. Take the start. Follow, leave it all behind. Welcome to the other side.
Hi guys, welcome back to EWC Community Cup featuring Rocket League. I'm Hercules, and this time I've got a new friend with me. We've got Corelli, and Corelli, my goodness, 2 Game 5s back-to-back. Carmine Corp being taken to Game 5. I gotta ask, I mean, from the sidelines, what did that look like?
Yeah, well, I wasn't surprised to see K-Corp go to 5, not because I think that they should, but more so that that's just kind of how they've been lately. And Wild's actually a better team than maybe some people give them credit for. They've got some good players on that team. Resolve versus Young Unks, that was a painful one, I think, for Resolve to lose. You drop your first game, but then you win the next 2, and you're sitting on match point for 2 more games, and then you can't come out on top, and especially putting up some goals as well, but still falling short. That's a painful way to lose, but of course, nobody's out yet the way these groups work. You have to win 1 game to get into the playoff bracket, and you get a second life if you lose your first.
Exactly. So we will be seeing more of those teams later on today. So don't go anywhere. We got lots more for you guys. And speaking of lots more, we've got Group B up next. So let's take a peek over here. We've got, okay, this name is going to mess me up all day, but I know it's Polvo, but the plays like Rats Park just cracks me up. Polvo versus Hag coming up first here. And then later on today, we're going to have Jobless versus Forward. Carly, I got to ask you, do you have like a favorite matchup between the two? Is it pretty equal?
Generally pretty equal. I think most people are going to recognize players, excuse me, on Jobless and Forward. That's where I think, you've seen these players before, but you can't count out a team like Hag. They've got a player like Astral, which everyone in Europe should know that name at the very least. Growly had a great couple of splits last season, and Hyder on this team as well. So Group B should be, honestly, after Group A, should be more of the same. I expect some of these series to be going the distance.
I am in the same boat, especially after the way Group A panned out. I would not expect anything less now, but we do need to get into our first one. So, first match up, we've got Polvo versus Hag. Again, you talked about, these are fairly recognizable names on the side of Pilar. We've got Jazzy, Ethan, and Polvo, and then Growly, Haidar, and Astral. So, honestly, as the years have gone on, I feel like it's fair to say decently equal. I might favor Hag a little bit in this one just because of experience, but what are you thinking?
Yeah, it's tough because, Team Hag has names like Astral. It's been around for a long time, and the expectation is that he's a great player. I mean, this is a guy just last season in the fall that was, finishing second at a major. So, in Astral. So for Hag, I mean, there's a lot of experience here. On the other side, teams that have been in and around the bubble or in and around like the top 16, players on Team Husky, things of that nature. If you recognize those in Europe, then you're probably watching a lot of open quals and into kind of that top 16 area. So I think that this one generally should be close, but if I had to pick, I'm going to go with Team Hag for now.
I think I am in the same boat, although there is a world where the upsets and the underdogs start to come through and go crazy on everybody. But yes, I'm in the same boat. I do love seeing all these newer people. I mean, they're not like super brand new off the rip, but Jazzy, Ethan, and Polvo, I am excited to see this team play together and how they stack up against Hag a little bit. Let us know in chat, though, who you guys have and are predicting. We officially, though, have our first match of Group B headed underway.
Group B should be interesting. We got Game 5s in Group A, like we've been kind of alluding to. I think my expectation is to probably get more of the same, more Game 5s here. That's kind of how Europe rolls anyways. We just play everyone really close, at least in the beginning here in the qualifiers.
Well, we're going to see if this continues to stay close here. Off kickoff. Pretty speedy with it, but it is Polvo that, comes out first swinging. Couple around the corner here. Ethan tries to go down. Great challenge there from Astral to keep this one off. Interesting car designs all the way around, though. Always fun to see, but my goodness, bro, the Kiwi wheels is something, Growly.
Hey, it's style points, all right? If for nothing else, you get some style points. The Kiwi wheels, why not? There's a few players in Europe that have an interesting choice in wheels. What are those stage wagon ones as well? The ones that look like they're about to break. Oh, yes,
that look like a little wagon wheel.
Yeah. But for now, Growly and Hag putting on some good offense, and that's a good start for them, at least getting a couple shots off. Still scoreless in the first minute, but for Hag, certainly showing some poise on offense.
Yes, definitely. It's been decently equal. Again, completely scoreless in that first minute or so there, but a lot more pressure, I feel like, from Polvo plays like we're at right now. A few more shots coming through. Hag being forced to defend a little bit more than they'd like to, but equally coming out successful. That's pretty much all you could hope for, right? If a bunch of shots are coming your way, you want to be able to defend all of them. You see a cheat up, and it's hard to break out of your half when they own that midfield.
That's the important part, too. I mean, we talk a lot about like teams and how they want to be positioned, and controlling the midfield is certainly a big deal, and controlling your goal line might be even bigger. Ethan putting away his first, and Team Hag only had one man back in Astral to take the challenge. It's a tap in for Ethan.
Oh man, I mean, great challenge, great speed with it too, and first on the board is exactly where you want to be in this. There's been so many times where we've seen these games won today just with one goal, so potentially it could be the end of it if Hag can't respond soon. You got 3:18 on the clock, which most people would think is a plenty decent amount of time to get back into the swing of things, but the amount of pressure that Hag has been forced to defend has been pretty intense. Even this one's still unable to find its way through. 3:04 on the clock. Hag just trying their darnest, but Polvo working together with his teammates to get around. Jazzy to the backboard here. It's just, for some reason, it's just not enough, but they're getting outplayed just a tiny bit.
Yeah, for Polvo, they're trying to use each other downfield, and it worked for a moment there, but Hag getting the better of their opposition with just their solo plays. And that's the big threat that they have, especially between Astral and Growly, who have been phenomenal in times past. And now a great pass down to the top of the box. And Jazzy will try his luck against Astral, who comes up with possession. Trying to get control here is Hag. But Pulvo trying to keep that speed up and hold their midfield line.
Great clear upfield too. Just past Astral. Enough though that he was able to double and keep it on out. But for Hag, you're just consistently being forced back in your own half, having to defend these shots coming through. And for Pulvo, I mean, that's a great position to be in. Jazz is trying to force this one up. It's a 3v1 situation. You're not getting around it, but this one a little bit easier. Tiny bit of a center. Ethan just wasn't quite ready on that one, but still, the fact that the pressure is as consistent as it has been is a great sign for Pulvo.
Yeah, Pulvo really dancing around the goal line here. Hag was doing so well early on, and now it's just been full chaos defensively. Astral trying to regain some semblance of control, and that one off the far post, and another one hider. It's finally Astral tap it home, and Hag are on the board.
I was waiting to see this team kind of wake up a little bit. Not that they haven't quite been in it, but just the follow-ups have kind of been lacking a little bit there. So once they finally start to come through, Hag just a little bit too fast for Pulvo to defend for once at a minute 36 on the clock. It's a tied game.
And, I mean, a good recovery from Hag. They were under a lot of pressure there for 30-40 seconds, and the defense was not the prettiest. So for them to turn that into a scoring opportunity, again, showing some good poise offensively when they are able to get down there.
Astral again over one. Growly just trying to keep that pressure from Hag consistent. Hider, Astral spots him, but he goes to the backboard. Great read there from Pulvo himself. And there you have it. They already transitioned over one, even on low boost. They managed to keep their play going. And a minute left on the clock, tied game. Next goal, it's going to be important.
Certainly is. Honestly, a lower scoring affair than I thought it would be when it came to this, but that's a big miss from the last man. Was it Pulvo himself to not get the touch on the ball? This one just floats into the net.
That's a rough one too, because he had so much boost and honestly time to position himself, but it's just a beat out like that. Unfortunate for them, but fortunate for Hag. 1 goal lead, 45 left on the clock. You're pretty much defending off these last few plays here. Jazzy down from the ground and up. Hider's gonna send this one. Spot Astral. Try to beat out Ethan. He does. Double off the side. Again, just really wasting time is the name of the game for Hag in these last 30.
A shame for Pulvo to give that one up. For all the good defense that they had, especially early on with the solo plays coming out from Hag, that's the one they give up, and a painful one if they were to lose this game. They've got 15 seconds left and possession. If Jazzy can get over one, the follow-up's there. Still looking for another. Pulvo's got to go into this one himself just to ensure that this one stays in the attacking third. But Hag trying to slow the play down. And have they done enough? They have. Game one going over to Hag.
Not a bad game. They get back into it in the last few moments there, but for the most part, Pulvo really had all the pressure on the world. They were just forcing Hag, boxing them in their own half, and when they finally got out, you saw this was the play that really just opened things up for them. It was just a follow-up finally coming through. Widening out the defense, though, forcing them to be allotted some space was a really great shot there from Hag, and I mean, props to them. You take game one in the series.
Yeah, and I think that Hag, they showed moments where their offense was very, very dangerous, but I would say their biggest concern right now is staying organized defensively. Pulvo, if they can find what they did in, 2 minutes into that game, where they just had Hag all over the place, that's where they want to be. And they'll definitely be putting away more shots like this one as Ethan strikes first again for Pulvo in the first 10 seconds.
I mean, I like this pressure from them, and it's like you said, you got to come in with the same energy that you did in game number one. This is what they did before. Off the kickoff, very early stages of the beginning of the game is where they took their initial lead, and then they forced Hag back for so long. The question is, Hag, are you able to respond way faster than you did before? Grelly almost doubled it off the side there. That would have been a crazy response off this one. Instead, Hag has to try again, and unfortunately, this time on low boost.
And this is exactly where Pluvo wants them. Jazzy getting a second touch. Dangerous Hyder's just got to pop this one up. Pluvo's got a free touch towards the net, but he didn't have enough boost to make a big play on it. And couldn't tell if he was just trying to drop that one down. Now back the other way. Growly had help with the defense, and Jazzy will hold up. And Hag might have to be a little bit more creative than those direct air dribbles towards net. Pluvo's certainly ready for it, and they're keeping players back to slow down that play and buy time.
And you talk about trying to get, a little bit more creative than just that initial play. On the last one, you saw the attempt to go for that, bump or that demo out of the way. The problem is just they're not quite connecting. This time, though, they will. It's a pass and play between Astral and Growly. Great setup there from Astral, though. Around the corner, finally, someone passed to Jazzy, and just enough space in the defense to break through.
And Hag, they don't spend a ton of time on offense, at least for the last couple of minutes in gameplay between this game and the last, but they make the most of it here. And now Astral jumping off the ceiling, trying to receive this pass from Hyder. A lot of confidence in the offense from Hag. We kind of recognized that in game one. They will make quick work of defenses if they allow it.
Here comes Growly trying to go for that second goal here. Jazzy really, though, I gotta give props to him. The amount of defense that has come out successful has been due in fact to them. So Growly over one, past Jazzy, the one you want to get past successfully. Hyder up next, solo play. When you talk about those air dribble doubles to the backboard, that's a great read from Polvo. And as time's going on, Polvo just doing a much better job at positioning themselves where every opportunity of plays we've seen in the past don't become as repetitive as before. They're all getting stopped in their tracks.
Yeah, a little one-dimensional from Hag. They keep air dribbling straight towards the net. Polvo has multiple players sitting there. Got to come up with something a little bit more creative than that. It's Growly taking himself and tries to go up over Ethan, and again, tested is the defense on the orange side, and they've come out victorious, is throwing this one back towards the Hag side.
Big clear past midline. Astral trying to follow it. And low boost, two players. It's up to Hyder to just really keep this in their favor. Astral took that corner boost, which gives him a lot of room to work with here. He goes down, this one to the crossbar. Polvo, though, is still able to keep this one out, and the team as a whole forced that clear, forced this transition a little bit, but immediately sent back. Ethan's just trying to stop it in its tracks as it happens. With 2 left on the clock in a tied game, this is one of the fewer moments we saw Polvo finally get out of their own side, but not long enough to even take a shot.
And even with that, when you're looking at Hag, their last attempt on net was probably their most creative. They moved the ball across the box a couple times, as you mentioned, stretching out the defense a little bit more, and Pluvo's had to work for it. Now flip reset from Jazz. He's going to use it here. That's a monster flick towards the far side, or the near post rather. Defense able to come up, demo's coming out, but not for Hag, as this one is put in by Astral. I don't know how he was allowed in, and found an angle across the back wall.
Oh man, I think Jazzy just put a little bit too much focus on that first initial demo, forced Ethan to have to run back, and unfortunately he got there, yes. However, maybe a little bit too fast to be able to be prepared for what Astral was going to throw at him, and Astral breaks through. 1 goal lead to Hag, potentially 2 here if they can keep this push going. But Polvo loses the tied game, loses down to a 1 goal lead to Hag, and now they got to find a way to get into this one. Bounce up and in, and Jazzy will be the one to equalize.
A little bounce shot from Jazzy, why not? And Growly with no boost, at least initially, means he had to go back, and that opened up some space through the corner, and a pass out from Pluvo comes through. Jazzy, a great bounce shot towards the net. We're all tied up with 1:13 on the clock.
Not too bad. 1:12 to go. Tied game. Hag wanting to take match point, though. And Hyder's going to be the first to try and do so. Off the backboard, Growly enough space to double. Maybe a triple is what it takes. The follow-up doesn't go through. Ethan takes this ball away, clears it. That could have been dangerous, but Hyder, right place, right time, great positioning to slow Polvo down just a bit.
Hag knocking on the door there, and a good dunk by Astral will ensure that the attack slows down for Polvo. Now this one right across the box, and Hag looking for a way in, but the defense on the orange side has been quite strong despite giving up 2 goals. Hag very quick on their offense, and now a double tap to the back wall for one more, and no one's there. Astral will poke it away.
Oh man, if that had any more power on it too, just a little bit more left, that actually might have found its way in, but it's okay. Astral can do it from the sky. That is where he is the most confident. But I got to give props to Hyder. That first initial beat out to really just set him up. It's great teamwork. It's so much more creative than what we've seen in the past to get around the defense. And really playing that air game has made a huge difference to the Hag offensive attacks.
And that was an all-in play from Hag. I mean, Growly had also jumped at that ball. So the chips were all on the table on that play. And, you know, we sit here and say, hey, look, that was a game-winning goal. But had they not scored that, they might be down a goal here, might have given up this game.
Yeah, that was the definition of high risk, high reward.
It was a little self-imposed, too. I'm not really sure if the risk was really needed. But nonetheless, you know, no reason to over-criticize here. If it works, it works. And for Hag, better for it. They're up 2-0. In the series now, and looking quite good here. Just, you know, the offense, it's a little inconsistent, and it might be a little one-dimensional, but it is working. It is piercing through the defense, maybe not at a high rate, but enough to get the job done. And you do have to give some credit over to Pluvo's defense as well. They've done well to stop a lot of these air dribbles and solo plays coming up from Hag, but I really don't think that was a bad game from Pluvo as well. I think they did fine. It was just that, you know, you give up a late goal to Astral, it's going to happen.
Yeah, you can't allot any space, especially to Astral in the air with a high tank of boost. Anything over 50 becomes very dangerous territory to have to defend against. But yeah, like you said, Pluvo doesn't really look bad. I mean, this is actually so much closer than it seems on paper. Like, if you were just tuning in and you saw this 2-0 series scoreline, you would think, oh, okay, this is just a complete shutout. But no, not really. Hag, as time has gone on, has had to really earn it in different ways, whether that was defending in game number 1 and really just attacking so much more in game 2. Pluvo got to find an answer to get back into the series.
Great ball movement from Hag, now really ramping up their offense, showing some more creativity, using each other. Pluvo are able to turn it away once again. Now Pluvo just trying to straight up the gut. He almost was able to make it in. This went to the backboard, and I don't know if they're going to have more follow-up here as Hag run perturbed on that last attempt. And here they come back the other way. I swear every single one of their attacks starts with some form of an air dribble and usually it's Astral just attacking space in a lot of cases in the midfield or into a corner. Doesn't necessarily mean it's on target, but it is their favorite way to break out.
And I feel like, I mean, Pluvo, there's no way they haven't, noticed the pattern. It's just more about what can you do to very confidently defend it and make sure that the follow-up doesn't come through. But here it is again, Astral to collect, just trying to carry this one down and under. It's the play that keeps it in, and Hag the first to lead.
Well, hey, it's going to work eventually, and Astral finds the air dribble bump, or rather the carry across the field, bumps the last man. Hyder and Growly were absolutely there to crash the net and ready to put that one home, but some great work from Astral, and that's the type of player he is, right? He'll take the solo play, he'll find the space, he'll make it work, and he'll keep making it work and keep attempting it till it does, over and over and over again, and he's done well for Hag throughout this series, and once again find themselves in the lead.
He really has. He's been a very solid player as time has gone on, and even just over the years. But Pluvo trying to make up for that first initial goal that went in by Astral. It's Pluvo himself, the solo, but I mean Ethan, the first initial tee up there. But Growly, unfortunate touch. Just this one gets by him, and it's back to a tied game. Yeah,
great work from Pluvo there, just finding some space through the corner. Gap in the defense from Hag. Growly really got caught, or would have got caught in no man's land had he challenged. He opted to try and make the play on the back wall, or on the goal line, which is the proper play to make, and just didn't come up in his favor. So Pluvo able to answer back, as they have always been able to, and not always as pretty as the way Hag does it, but they've been getting the job done.
This one laying in the mid. You've got to keep that close too, though, if you are Hag. You can't let Pluvo take this ball away, because then this is going to happen. Those follow-up plays are just a little bit too quick and consistent right now. Hyder working to try and get out. Crowley spots him. He's just lurking, waiting to send this one off the side. Second half of the game, though, officially on in. Hag finally on some pressure. Growley over to Hyder. Hyder tries to find the angles just too close to the post.
Got to be careful if you're Pluvo. I know you got still half a game left here, but don't let a solo play from Hag steal this game and the series away from you. Stay consistent in your rotation. Hag, they're going to give you a lot of clears like this where they either just bomb it downfield, that time off a pinch, or just an air dribble to space. You can allow that if you can regain possession, have numbers back, and Ethan now chopping it up in the box, trying to break through. And Pluvo just spending their time in their attacking third, not really putting on anything too threatening at the moment, but making Hag work for it defensively.
For sure, Hag definitely is having to earn their space to go take some shots right now. Great challenge off the side. This goes from one end to the other there, but falls into the hands of Growley. Around the corner, shot opportunity for Hyder. Takes it, sent off. But still pressure in their favor. Pluvo's going to end it right there in its tracks. 1v1 on Hyder. This one goes back into the hands of Growley, and 1:20 on the clock here. It really is just a fight back and forth. Somebody's trying to fight for this control there. That clear there is the first time. Hag really is just taking it back there in a few seconds. Jazzy up next, that one player that's made a couple key differences for this Pluvo team as far as offense was going.
The gameplay has become a little bit more muddy here between the two teams as well. And now a shot comes off, but defense there lined up from Ethan. Another follow-up from Growley. You got to be careful. Cannot allow the second man to come in for free almost. As now you've given Growley an opportunity to the back wall, and Pluvo there to make the clear, but a great touch from Astral finds Hyder. Hyder back to Astral, back to Hyder, who is still in the air, and Hag almost putting on a highlight play.
That would have been incredible. I love the patience from it. Just not enough boost to keep it going, but great creativity all the way around. Big demo here. Astral tried to get over one. Hyder to follow over Ethan. And here comes Growley. Last touch. Everybody forward, trying to take these touches. 13 seconds on the clock. Maybe one last heroic play can steal that lead back for Hag. Instead, Pluvo, they're trying to force that game number 4, if possible, and start the reverse sweep.
Get let up here, even in 0 seconds. That's a good challenge to knock that one down. Hag was ready to score that 0-second goal, and they have full confidence going into it as well. Overtime, in our first overtime here in this series, and possibly our only overtime if Hag comes out on top. Growley trying to make sure that happens with his own flip reset. And he's only as far as just past the midfield line as Pluvo trying to put on their offense, and they're in a good spot. Double tap down, no follow-up, and Hyder here to clear it away.
Not really only stayed out, just due in fact to accuracy off this one. Growley, double, triple, mini, quadruple towards that net. 33 into the clock. Hag had a decent amount of pressure, but it's short-lived. Pluvo back on the other end of the field. Trying to slow this one down in the corner here. Double commit, double bump off their team side between Astral and Hyder. Could be dangerous for Hag. Pluvo, again, really just trying to keep this ball blue side.
And Pluvo has done a better job of not allowing Hag out for free with some of these solo plays. But when Hag are able to break downfield, that's where Pluvo really starts to break down a little bit more. There's a lot more ball movement from Hag and a lot more opportunity. His double tap from Growley and trying to set up Astral, who couldn't come up with a touch. That's right back in possession for Hag. And Hyder is able to bounce free from his corner, finds Astral. Astral towards Ned, and again, the defense holds strong.
Growley over to Hyder. Hyder over to Astral. A little bit of space to work with here, but just too much on the defense to get around. Jazzy tries to go under Hyder. He is successful, but that's a great touch from Growley to keep this in their favor. Pass over to Hyder. This one is centered, but it doesn't even go towards net. And Pluvo having to play a little bit of a faster game here defensively because Hag is coming through off the backboard. No follow-up to be found. Instead, it's a big, clear backup field, and Pluvo going to try and take this as a transition opportunity, but gets stopped at mid.
Got to be careful. More and more opportunities are coming for Hag, and now they're passing the ball. Now the ball's moving like crazy downfield. Everyone getting involved on the offense, and Pluvo just trying to stay alive with some of these counterattacks. They haven't been able to lock in Hag and put on an attack that lasts for more than just a couple touches. Now Gorali across the Astral, the pre-jump shot, and Hag take the series in 3.
I mean, I was waiting for the pressure buildup, and eventually it does here, but what's even better is Growly getting over Jazzy. Really, that first initial touch. We've seen this play so many times. Eventually, it was going to work like you said, and it does, and Hag take the series in a sweep.
And that was a great last game from Hag. I know that was the closest one by the standard of overtime, but they really started to show their offense in that overtime. The movement, and I kind of criticized saying it felt a little one-dimensional, a lot of solo plays where these guys were just kind of air dribbling to space, air dribbling into the first defender, and it's fine, it works. Some of the best teams in the world will air dribble purposefully into backboards and defenders to challenge that down and set up their second man. But that wasn't exactly what Hag had. They didn't have a second man following so close. Then they introduced the ball movement, and that's where their offense really started to shine, and they got a well-earned goal there in the end to close out the series.
Incredible series there from Hag. Congratulations on your sweep. First sweep of the day. We've only seen game 5, so feels a little bit different, which means we are just going to get right into the swing of things. Up next, we've got Forward versus Jobless. This is another one of those matchups where you recognize the names, you know the teams. It could be equal, it could be game 5, or it could be a sweep.
The former Moist roster, that's kind of the namesake there. Jobless, Ixo, Oli, and Nas. And Nas, very interested to see him on this team, of course. Rezi is typically here. And then Forward, who's a team that we've seen, or the majority of this team we've seen in RLCS. And they have had some good results throughout the year. This game, or this series, though, again, I would say it's very favored in Jobless, but as we keep saying, Herc, it's Europe. You really can never tell.
Yeah, it really is very dependent on how you show up on the day of. And even then, how you show up on the day probably isn't how you look for the rest of it. So it is up to Compact, Edgeby, and Mike Boyd to really, pull off something fairly special. I think offensively is going to be the biggest challenge. Having the space to be able to even take some shots. I think that, this Jobless roster has a very favored defense when it comes up in this matchup, but there is only one way to find out who is going to come out on top. That's to actually play the series. But before it happens, we will jump into Preds. Let us know in chat who you guys are rooting for. I guess I'll go first. I will make you go first every time, Cody. Okay. I don't know. For me, I feel like adding Nas into it, he's just a player that just all around has been so incredible recently, and a lot of eyes have been on him. I feel like I can't not really go Jobless, but I feel like it will be a lot closer than most people expect.
Yeah, I hate sitting here and just picking favorites every single time, but I can't, like you said, it's tough for me to go against Jobless. They've had some great success, especially with teams under them, which I would absolutely consider Forward a team under them at the moment. Maybe it's closer than you may think, but I still think that Jobless is the top dog in this group. And so for me, it's tough for me to vote against them. But I do think that, this Forward squad, their best result so far on the year has pretty much been a top 12 in RLCS. That's their best that they've done. And they've had some worse performances as well, but somewhere in that top 12, top 16, Jobless, I think, is sitting, in a top 10 in most cases. So for Jobless, this should be a series that they win. I don't know. I'll say probably 3-1 Jobless.
That's honestly a very valid scoreline. So we're gonna see if Curly is right. Let us know in chat. I know predictions with channel points are going on right now, so try and sneak on in there before this match gets started. But Jobless versus Forward, Ixo, Nas, and Oli versus Edgeby, Compact, and Mike, officially about to go down.
And we'll see what we've got going on here. I am very curious to see Jobless with Nas and see what he can provide. And already taking a shot on target is a great way for him to enter this series.
Yeah, that's a great opener there. Jobless, though, Still trying to keep the pressure going. Taken away here from Compact. Ixo, great save off to the side. Really, I'm just trying to see who's going to be the first person to be aggressive. That first initial demo coming out from the side of Jobless. I feel like that could be a really big difference maker between these two teams. But first 30 seconds, for now, scoreless.
And as expected, you know, we keep saying Jobless, of course, being the favorite here, but I don't expect a complete blowout by any means. If our first 2 series of the day were any indication. Although I guess the last series was a 3-0, so you know what? Never mind.
To be fair, that was a weirdly close series for it being a sweep.
And you got the overtime too, so you never know here as Forward trying to put together their offense and figure out what Jobless is bringing to the table. As they find the back wall, the follow-ups there off the post and a second, and Compact will make the save in the end, and Jobless off the woodwork twice, still not enough.
Actually insane that didn't go in. That's just insane to me. You had almost what felt like all the time in the world, and Jobless still continue though to make the saves, keep this 0-0 for now. But as time's going on, pressure's building up from Forward. It's just as each clear comes on, it's a little breath of relief, but you got to get right back into it. Oli gonna try and make up for what happened before. Off the ground, takes his time, no boost left in the tank to continue the play. And Forward run away with this. Edge beat over to Compact to the corner. You see Mike Boy already trying to get himself set up. Instead, he's gonna have to play this one left side and just allow Forward to still be in this one with some decent amount of pressure.
And you're not really seeing either team get the better of each other for extended time. Yes, you've seen Forward play a little bit through the midfield and hold possession, but each team's had one good opportunity, but neither coming out with it quite yet. It's a decent pinch towards the net. Oli up for that one.
Big clear out mid too. Forward really just having to work together. You would think they'd be able to break out a little bit easier, but Jobless does a great job of just taking, 100 shots, even if they aren't, the most quality. But this is completely open for Compact. A full push-up from Jobless gets beat out, but that demo on that third man there, nobody able to either respawn in time or run back in time, and that's a first goal for Forward.
I think that Jobless player might have either pinched it or put it in the corner and ricocheted off itself to get that power over the back line. So a little errant touch by Jobless really sets up Forward for their goal, and Compact better for it as he was able to pick up that boost and chase after. A 1-0 lead for Forward means, well, there's a job to do for Jobless here with 2 minutes left.
Try and get back into things. That's the name of the game for them right now. Jobless, Oli gonna be the one to do it. Wide open net too. I'm trying to see where was everyone. Edgeby just tried to make the quick turnaround on it, make the challenge, but lost it. And I mean, an on-target clear like that, it's an easy tie-up.
And Jobless get their response, which is the most important part of all of that, especially after the way that last goal went in. Some open nets for both teams, whether forced or unforced. Both teams able to convert.
Like this from Compact too, though. It's not the best of touches, but I feel like Forward, at least as far as like their air game is going, are doing a pretty decent job at finding each other here. Jobless trying to drive this one upfield. It was a demo play. Ixo just tried to keep the pressure going with a clear on the ground, but no shot, no goal. Center over to Ixo, too slow. Mike Boy keeps it out, and Forward having to defend a lot, but another beat out here. And the push forward from Mike Boy.
Mike Boy slow played this one a little bit, bought himself some extra space. First he pokes it around the first man, and then Compact. Mike Boy just sits behind the ball, waits for Compact to punch that second man out of the way, and then he barrels through the last man to ensure the goal all the way across the field. And that seems to be the theme of a lot of these goals, is players are just taking this all the way from their own side and making it work.
Oh, yeah, and they're doing it well. 1 minute left to go. Jobless trailing, forcing their own half, almost trailing by 2, but a great save there from Nas. Over to Ixo. less than a half a tank to work with there. Him and Oli trying to get on out. Now it's up to Nas. He's getting rushed by HB. You see Compact's already lurking there, and as soon as that lurk came through, I knew it just takes one bump off the play, and this one was in. It does, and 2-goal lead for Forward.
Yeah, great control through the corner. Bumping Nast out means Compact could come in for free, and Forward, I would say commanding lead here with the control we've seen, especially in that last goal. It's a 2-goal lead, but with 40 seconds left or just under it, it's going to be a tough ask from Jobless to get back into this one.
And it's not even that they played bad or anything like that. It's just Forward really knew when to ramp things up, and it's just a bit too much for Jobless right now. Mike Boyd trying to turn this into 4 if possible, but Forward knows when the right time for everyone to push up is, and it's been executed fairly decently. But 10 seconds left on the clock, just not enough time for Jobless to get back into this one. You can try with all your might, but most you can do is find something for the road home as you head on over into game number 2.
And for Forward, what a great start to their series. You know, again, a lot of us, you and I and the people in chat, favoring Jobless in this one, but Forward striking first, getting that first punch in is super important in a series that you're not favored. And, you know, Jobless, you know, you said that it wasn't that bad from him, and I don't disagree. I don't think it was a horrible game from him, but they did seem a little off. They felt defensively, a little confused at times, a little uncertain of how they wanted to approach things, and maybe that's just how great Forward had been in that game. But for Jobless, they're going to have find a little bit more confidence defensively and take those challenges, because I think Forward are very comfortable right now in the way they move the ball around.
Oh yeah, the play style that they're bringing to this series in particular is working so well against Jobless, but it's like you said, it's a mix, right? Like, you can be playing a fairly decent offensive heavy game, but if your defense is just lacking, even if it's like a level behind, it is just enough to get past you every single time. So Forward trying to take game number 2 in this one, continue the momentum that they had in game number 1, and the response from Jobless in the series potentially about to come through.
We shall see as we start game 2. And Forward already on the back foot. I think for Forward, you can't get too antsy here against Jobless, because I think Jobless is going to rely on you making your own mistakes, as Ixo gets a demo and then the save. Great work by Ixo. He's the last man, the last defender for Jobless, and he comes up big.
30 seconds into this one now. It's Jobless back on the prowl. A little bit of a demo there, but Mike Boy ultimately keeping Forward in this one. Pass over to Compact. Reset denied by Nash. And Jobless just keeping their head above water right now. Really, just the thing that has been lacking is once they are out of the play, they can't turn it into something, but same can't be said for Forward. Once they're out of their own half, you got to be ready for whatever crazy shot's about to come forward. Well,
fortune favors the bold here, and Mike Boy rips one from the sidewall, and after a series of bounces off of a post and the defender, it lands right back in front of him, and he lands right on top of it and puts it home. So Forward again, striking first in the first minute here, and Jobless, you start to wonder about their offense. Well, that was a decent look from Oli, but he puts it wide. Jobless knocking on the door, and Compact missing the ball, but he'll get Ixo, and he'll ensure that Forward get out cleanly.
I like this, though, from Forward. More demos coming through means it's even more frustrating, and then this starts to become a little bit of a mind game here. Nas, no connect on that ball. Very, very low boost. Falls into the hands of HB. And a half a tank to work with is Compact. Tries to get the reset over Oli. Completely denied in his tracks. And 3:30 on the clock. Forward just holding on to that 1-goal lead. Stopping every play that Jobless have tried to put forward. It's just, it really is just a little bit of an outpace of play right now. Forward getting the beat on Jobless almost every single time.
Jobless not really having an answer for it here. Oli, who just had a moment ago a great look on the flick. Now it's Nas to the sky, who